Audio is rolling. Go ahead and roll camera.
This is what you do. You control spaces with your talking.
All right. Cool. Welcome everybody. This is OpenGym. We are at OpenGym HQ. First and foremost, we want to thank San Diego Design Week for setting us up and kind of giving us a chance to tell our stories.
Yeah.
Erwin, do you want to kind of speak more on? This is kind of how it goes around here, you know. I think with everything going on in the current state of not only our industries, but like literally our communities, any chance we get to kind of speak our piece is, something that we look forward to. So thank you guys for listening to what we're about to say. And I kind of want to set it up so we can all introduce ourselves and get to know everybody at the table, and then kind of dive into some San Diego Design Week teams. Mm-hmm. Cool. Why don't we start with Lee J?
Hi, my name is Lee J. And this morning for breakfast I had scrambled eggs, some salsa, sliced cucumbers, and 2 types of toast. One was buttered and the other one had cinnamon and sugar.
And that's everything you need to know about.
Today is Kobe Day, 8/24. I'm from Los Angeles, born and raised, moved down to San Diego in 2012, 2 years after the Lakers won their 5th championship. And I'm excited to be here today. I don't know the exact directive of who I'm speaking to, so my mind and my voice and my face will just be everywhere, but my intention is directed. I would like to hand it off to Taylor to my left.
Hello, my name is Taylor Schaefer. Born and raised in San Diego, Chula Vista. My background is interior design and architecture. So that's kind of my role in the group of this mosh posh. Is that
Mosh
a term?
posh.
That's a term, right?
Mosh posh.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
yeah.
this hodgepodge of a group, I am that. Let's see, half Filipino, half Italian. So I'm surrounded by same blood. Is that weird to say? Okay, I'm gonna pass it over to Phil now.
Wait, what did you have for breakfast?
Oh,
Yeah.
for breakfast? Ooh.
That's a through line.
Skipped breakfast. Oh, I had a cup of coffee, then I had green juice, orange juice, some water. Then I had more energy drinks. And that was my breakfast. Phil?
I'm Philip Esteban, born and raised here in San Diego, National City. Chef by trade. For breakfast, I had fried rice and longanisa, and also coffee. Kind of feel like we had this kind of meeting this morning already, but I cook food.
Straightforward. My name is Erwin Hines. For breakfast, I'll start with that. I also had nothing other than coffee. I actually see what VJ was saying. You don't know who you're talking to, so I just dropped my phone. My background is in branding and design and brand strategy, and I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. A very long, drawn-out story of how I got into branding, but it's rooted in community and seeing my parents function within the space of community. And now community truly drives everything I do. Design is just the output or the expression of my love for community and not the other way around. So like if there wasn't my love for community, I'm not just gonna go home and design a poster. I'm not just gonna go home and design something. It always has to be rooted in the foundation of community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Solid. What'd you have?
I already said that.
Yeah,
I had
you had
coffee.
coffee, right? Wow. I
You know
also
what?
had
No,
coffee.
I had bacon.
Oh,
wow.
Just
okay.
just bacon.
Wow.
Five pieces.
I knew you had something
Yeah,
else.
5 pieces.
My name is Jam. Originally from the Bay Area, San Jose, California. Moved to San Diego about 5 years ago. Met these wonderful people at this table here by coffee, each and every one of them, and have since then just been getting creative and diving deeper into where I come from, but also where everybody at this table comes from and what they want to achieve with OpenGym.
Yeah.
For breakfast I had coffee. Also, I had a cold brew with extra shots of espresso in it, just because definitely used to that coffee life, and a little bit of almond milk and honey.
And I was gonna say to transition into like the actual topic, and oftentimes the question we get of like, what is OpenGym? It has evolved and developed, but at the core, it has always been rooted in the idea of community. As it's evolved and developed, and as we've started to actually launch different projects, we've started to rest ourselves on 3 key pillars. So OpenGym is a multidisciplinary collective based on the 3 pillars of space being both mental and physical space that we help to provide to foster a sense of belonging. Then we also have well-being, and then we also have food. A lot of the projects that we have right now running really revolve around the idea of food and kind of paired with even the idea of mental space and providing that mental space for people to feel a sense of belonging, as well as promoting cultural empathy through the different food projects that we do, through the different stories. And I would say like the strength of this group, or to me, what made me so inspired about being involved with this group as a designer who also has like a background in the space of architecture and really the idea of loving community. I was never one who just hung out with other graphic designers. I found that very limiting because we would just kind of go in circles talking about websites, go in circles talking about print design. And to me, the true inspiration always came from people outside of my industry and outside of the direct space, because there was adjacent inspiration. And oftentimes you can see parallels as long as it's rooted in like the same sort of philosophy. And so I think, like everybody said, other than Lee J, who is a man of mystery, and it is also disappearing, everybody does come from a different background and a different profession. And we utilize that. And that becomes so much more important as we move into, again, this new era of COVID and trying to solve problems and trying to open up spaces and trying to be a place of community and even embarking on these different food concepts and in how we approach it. Right. The diversity of background. And we have a dog.
Pepe. Pepe Razala.
Yo.
That's Pepe. That's Hugo's brother.
Oh my god.
He just came in from Mexico.
He looks
His
exactly
hair-
like
By way of New Mexico.
Your hair looks the same.
Pepe!
Oh my god,
He's brand
he
new.
doesn't even move.
This is my first time meeting him.
I think we.
And it's your first time meeting.
Yeah.
Your guys' first time meeting him too. That's tight. I think the true spirit of OpenGym is just
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Alright, Pepe's gotta go.
bye Pepe. I think something that we're unafraid of, to speak on Pepe's point, and also on Erwin's points too, and I'm sure Phil and Taylor can speak on this as well, is that our truest moments or our best moments are when we don't shy away from, like, truthfully who we are, and authentically where we come from. And like, if we want to bring a puppy on screen, we'll bring a puppy on screen. Or if we want to point out that Luis is behind the camera right now, and you guys haven't seen him yet, but he's managing it, he's saying hello, yep. That is a thing, and I think it's just all rooted in wanting to be authentic in every single way possible, but also being like fun about it and creative in it in the same way. So I kind of want to tie that into the point of hospitality and the three pillars that we believe in. And kind of want to pass it to Phil now, especially with your ventures now and how it's going, especially within OpenGym, how basically what the track is right now and what we're working on.
I think one of the things that always brought us together was the understanding that hospitality can be a dialogue to understanding identity, empathy within the community and space. And so now as we kind of move and shift and kind of figure out what OpenGym is, I think a lot to do with even some words that you said earlier today was just like the different things that are kind of being woven into the fabric of what OpenGym is becoming, and just seeing kind of our work through the BLM movement, through food and helping underserved communities, to eventually the physical spaces that we're going to be building. And so right now it's like this thing that we're building. There's no real attachment to a physical space, but I think that's where, through design and through the narrative of our story of what OpenGym is, then people will get connected with those spaces.
Absolutely, definitely. And to go beyond just the space, the physicality of space, but also the well-being of people in your community. I think that's definitely something we try to attest to every single day.
I would even say, like, to what you were just saying about hospitality, like hospitality surrounds all of those things, and we've been having a lot of conversations about chefs and people who work in hospitality and their role in culture and how they're oftentimes overlooked, even though that these are the individuals who actually shape the experiences that we have at the places we love. We typically just look at the places, but we don't actually look at the individuals behind the scenes who are actually shaping those experiences. And just in general, a lot of our economy is based on experiences. Like we typically, or like now, millennials and Gen Z don't necessarily place a lot of value on the materialistic things. They place a lot of value on the experiences. And so hospitality, again, is a crucial part in that. And even if you look at it as an art form, it's one of the things that communicates so much and carries with it so much history, but is not in history books. You have people like Banksy, you have Picasso, you have all of these great artists throughout history, and their stuff is shown and it's like showcased and honored and worshipped and studied. But food is the most accessible form of art. It also communicates so much, and it's one of the most immersive. Food is one of the most, or it is the most immersive form of art, but it's not looked at in the same light. And for me, as like a designer, working now with this team in that space of hospitality, being able to see food as something way more than just some flavors, or even just like, even if it's like the best food, the best fine dining experience, etc. It's more than that, because it's that opportunity to be a conduit for empathy and communication and start a conversation. So hospitality at its core is what we do, and it's like so much more than what people think it is, right? Like that to me is, I don't know, I went back to why I'm inspired about this group.
Yeah.
But I mean, to tie that in too, the landscape is changing for hospitality. Just like you were saying, where people are now used to just go for an experience because the design is nice or they like the food, but now it's important, or just as important now, of where they spend that dollar. And so if someone is not for their cause or for something, they just won't go anymore. And you kind of see that changing in a lot of different aspects. And I think we're now, with what we're doing and what we hope to create with OpenGym and our own dialogue of hospitality, is that understanding through empathy of people and how that brings everyone together.
Very much so. That's a great way to put it. I think
that's where I was
that's
going.
the one. I think that was very apparent in the way that this group just kind of came together in the very first couple things that we all did together as well. I mean, if you look in that corner up top over there, there's a Voltron Lego set, which is very much symbolic of how we pieced just our, not just like identities together, but our personalities, but just our different communities that we all come from. So, and how creative we can get to piece them all together, you know? To tie that back in now, things that happen within the realm of design, right, can completely relate to the realm of entertainment, to the realm of food and hospitality, to interior design, how space is built. I think another level of interest and attraction to just this group in general is the ability to harness that in different ways, because we say it all the time, we have so many different ideas, and every day there's a new idea on the table, you know? And I think that's a beautiful thing, because through one idea can lead another idea, and it can then form itself into a tangible thing, you know? It's just the process of putting the hands in the clay to mold what it is you're actually trying to accomplish, you know? And I think we've gone through our many rounds of ideas and brainstorming and processes, but something that we've very much achieved in the past 6 months is putting the nose to the grindstone and creating concepts like, you know, white rice and craft meals and many more to come, different concepts down the line, you know. But now the ideation and formation of these, what was first a thought or an idea to now very real living things in spaces to create culture. I think that's in a way something to look back on within this time frame, right? Which shit's not supposed to happen during COVID-19. You know, we're not supposed to be able to accomplish these things, but just on pure will and willingness to stick to who we are and stick to our guns, like, I think that's what's helped us move through this time.
I was gonna say, how for you guys has the diversity of perspective and background informed how you've moved with the different projects?
Oh, is me? Me first?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, I think, especially right now, through the movement and being a person of color, it's not necessarily opened up more opportunities, but I think more understanding about myself and that sense of identity, and being able to break down barriers and push through. I think right now is a perfect opportunity for young cooks and young chefs that are POCs to branch out and start this new wave of food. And so, but doing it in an authentic way. I think that's the most important part, where, you know, the challenges that's come up before, now everyone's talking about it. Now they're all topics of conversation. And so it's, I think we've been fortunate enough to have a very strong group to kind of navigate through all the kind of choppy waters, and to kind of now be the ones making those waves, and then inspire kind of the next generation to kind of pave the way.
Yeah. I think yeah, that's another one right there. You know,
Somebody.
that's very powerful and very empowering to everyone in the industry, honestly, because we're looking at the hospitality industry, food and beverage, and it's collapsing on itself because of the restrictions. But really, this is a time to just find solutions and find different ways forward. And all things considered, you know, we have a lot of friends in the industry that are being hit very hard, and we consider that as well. But I think there's a way forward. It's just about trying to navigate and continue that way. I think the same goes for, I mean, even with design, right? Everything shifted to remote working and Zoom calls. I don't know how it is in the interior design and architecture world too, but I'm sure anything that has physical spaces has had to maneuver and pivot as well.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a struggle I've seen, like when designs are finalized and they're in construction and now things have an uncertainty of whether they can function and open. I know it's not easy for people just to like switch things and figure out a new way when you're midway through construction, but I think that's one of the, going back to Urban's question earlier of how the diversity of the group has allowed us to kind of look at things like our own
Maneuver through this.
Yeah. I think when I was working at an architecture firm and you're surrounded by 100 other architects, you're all kind of thinking the same, but I think being the only one of my profession in this group allows me to see things the way that everyone around us should. And a lot of people, not that that's a bad thing, but a lot of people in the design industry don't necessarily have experience in the things that they are designing. So none of them have worked in the kitchen, none of them have maneuvered through that. So working alongside the chef and everything, you kind of figure out things more clear.
Yeah, absolutely. You gain more clarity through it all, right? Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I mean, even relating to like the dance industry and entertainment as well, there's been a huge pivot and shift in how people are maneuvering, because now you can't have like physical spaces to hold class, right? Or what was once a communal experience now has sort of this barrier around it, but even the way that industry has kind of tackled that is even inspiring as well. I mean, to bring that jolt and energy into that realm of like what is a Zoom class to now creating a platform for people to get together, I think that is a really interesting aspect of everything too. And I'm sure Lee J can kind of speak on that with everything that's been going on. But what is your thought process kind of been through this time from your perspective, even relating to hospitality too?
Yeah. You know, my mind space as of late has been very focused on trying to narrow in on like principles and philosophies that I want to be able to like pass on. That's a huge thing because in the beginning of the chaos of what is the pandemic, and closures, you know, as you guys know, like Rachel and I found out that we were having a baby, and because of this like understanding of the unpredictability, the sadness, the depression, the insecurity, like there was definitely a lot of darkness, and that still kind of creates a very deep shadow of uncertainty for like the life that we live today and the life that we live forward. And yet, as a future father, you begin to understand that life still has to go on, that life is still going to be created. And so I'm beginning to look at what I'm actually going to pass on. But I feel like that is something that's so much more universal, because what I've also realized and what I love about this group and this idea of being surrounded and to collaborate with other creatives, not those that are just within your practice or your realm of shared worldview, is this sense of like, this new thought that I had this morning was like, it is so cliche, yet it is this very embraced truth around this idea of like the power of positivity. and the path of positivity to take you through whatever you're going through. And I 100% agree with that. But I felt this morning, I was just like, man, it's so easy to pass on this idea of like, child, be positive. You know what I mean? Through the hard times, be positive. Through the uncertain times, be positive. But I was like, what is like the real root, tangible thing though, outside of this mental attitude and sheer will of being positive? And I was like, because positivity is great because it reflects like this term of faith or that power, but faith without works is nothing, and so there is this, and it made me think, I was just like, let me pass up on this power of positivity and let me begin to really lean in and believe and share this idea of like the actual principle is in this power of creativity, the ability to create, because it is in those creatives that figure out how to build something out of nothing, or how to create like a detour around the thing, or to a different way of climbing the thing, to get them to that place where, it could be positive, it could be negative too. But at the end of the day, it's like there's this reconciling of like what is healing in a way, and really like that's the thing that brings people together too. And when you're able to really get to that universal kind of like path of not just what to like hopefully believe in, but to mix it with a sense of like action. And so one thing that I really appreciate about this group and all creatives from different disciplines is literally, it's like it's so beyond just being positive. It's being creative, and I think that's the mentality that I really find, like, as far as like the thing that I know that I'll likely pass on even beyond just like good feelings,
Yeah, definitely much needed in times like this now, and I think, we're gonna wrap in a few because it's like really hot in this building right now. I don't know if you guys can see all the sweat, everybody. But I think one thing that's very daunting about, and also very exciting about what we're creating and doing as well is, we hear it all the time, like, you guys are so busy, like you guys are moving in so many different ways, and it's inspiring, yet also I don't know if I can kind of process everything that's going on, but it is the sheer buy-in to the faith of what you're doing, and also creating that positive energy through literally creating more, and putting the work behind the ideas. I think that's a very basic and very foundational principle of OpenGym itself. We've kind of built that into the whole process. So if there's anything that we would like to sort of put out there, it's that these ideas that you might have, these designs that you might have, or the song you might want to write, or the dance you want to dance, it can all happen and be possible. And it could be as simple as getting a cup of coffee with all your friends. So, yeah. Any closing notes from anybody?
Taylor has.
I was gonna say what he said, but.
Well, on that note, it's hot.
Yeah.
It's really hot in here. We're gonna get out of here. You guys can see clearly on the table we have like shirts that we fold and do in here, and we have books on the table and spray paint cans. But I think it's just it's a beautiful time for us to kind of continue to work on what we can control and what we can put our hands on. And we encourage you guys to do the same. So thank you guys for having us on San Diego Design Week. This is OpenGym. I'm Jam.
Erwin.
Phil.
Taylor.
Pepe's owner.
Yeah. Also, check out Rice Bowls for All.
Rice
Yes.
bowls for all.
Rice Bowls for All, and Wordsmith.
Yes.
Talk about Wordsmith.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a project that will be launched by the time you guys see this.
For sure. Yeah, Wordsmith is the literal kind of formation of that idea of exploring, but also very specifically exploring the life and culture of the hospitality industry, and getting a sneak peek behind the scenes of chefs, authors, and also yourselves. You know, we all know you guys like to cook at home, so why not arm yourselves with like a bunch of things that we found that we love and geek out over, whether it be a fork or an apron or a book, you know. That'll be coming out very, very soon. It'll be through various forms, online platforms and physical whenever we can open up again, but that'll be on Market on 8th in National City. We're a primary location for most of our projects coming down the line. And yeah, anybody else want to say anything on Wordsmith? That's it.
That was beautiful.
Cool. All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll give you guys the links and everything to follow stuff, but really, we appreciate y'all, and we're going to do the sound bowl thing right now.
Go Voltron Force.
I'm going to interlace it.